UBC, inspiring Uganda.
The Lens program on UBC TV is proudly brought to you by.
Starting with 100,000 shillings, you begin building real financial strength, because wealth doesn't just happen, you build it. And the
elected president declares candidate Yoweri Museveni to Kaguta Museveni. The duly elected president of the Republic of Uganda at the presidential elections held on the 15th day of January 2026 for the next 5 years.
My name is Peace Service Ambassador KAMBULA MILTON, the president of Global Peace Foundation, a civil society organization in Uganda but operating in more than 20 countries around the world. The elections in Uganda, largely, we can say they were largely peaceful compared to the last elections of 2021, but also the previous ones. These ones, we thank God that there were no too much killings. There has been reduction in the number of people dying during elections, during campaigns. And so these ones were really and practically, there has been a lot of improvement. The other one was the police brutality. Compared to 2021 elections, these ones were not heavily too much represented or defined by too much police brutality. But although there are some areas that need a lot of policing management. And so these improvements will be in our reports. The president, of course, the incumbent, His Excellency Yoweri Museveni, Kaguta Yoweri Museveni, is won elections with a bigger margin. I think largely because of grassroots campaigns that were triggering transformation and the parish development model, where each family, each couple is given 1 million shillings, Uganda shillings. That's around $250 US dollars in supporting the initiatives of value addition in agriculture, but also marketing of their local products. I think that was the magic bullet for the incumbent President Museveni. And also the other area that made the opposition lose was turning campaigns into music concerts. I think that's where their weakness is, and failing to trigger a message of transformation of the country, looking at how to reduce poverty, looking at how to protect the environment, consolidating cultural values. Those were the major demands of the people, and whoever was talking and giving promises around those thematic areas won the hearts of Ugandans. And I think the other strength was on peace and security, guarantees to Ugandans. The incumbent has been really practically on it, and consolidating gains on security was very critical. And I think many Ugandans felt should come back to consolidate peace and security. Of course, looking at the global terrorism index, Uganda is performing well because of General Yoweri Museveni's capacity, of course, with his son who is leading the Ugandan Army, Uganda People's Defense Forces. The other areas that I think are too much that has changed over sudden is that the popular politicians lost elections in the parliamentary elections. I think that comes as a result of the internal divisions and fighting and competition in the political parties, essentially. Political parties were divided and forgot that they have an objective of challenging a 40-year-old regime of the President Museveni, who is the incumbent who has finally won them. So they divided themselves into internal bickering, into internal fighting each other, and so the opposition, a divided opposition in Uganda, cannot win this 40-year-old leader in power. So that, for international consumption, is that I think Uganda is on the trajectory of building a $500 billion economy by 2050. That is the roadmap that the incumbent has given the country, and using the PDM, parish development model, he looks at turning these parishes and villages into incubations of innovation, of local manufactured products. So he's looking at industrialization. He's looking at building a railway system to connect each of these villages to transport products into regional markets, and urbanization, which is triggering into a 9-city number, which he wants to build cities that can really culminate into tax collection, urbanization, night economy, and talent development. Stadiums are being built. Religious leaders have a great stake, and the press freedoms are increasing. But largely, there has been a lot to celebrate in these elections. Partly, one, reduced number of deaths during the campaigns as a result of improved policing and the civil society space, which is fighting government to allow candidates to campaign. There has been a lot of opportunity for political candidates to campaign across the country. That has been improved. It is now improved than the previous 2021 election. Another achievement was the newcomers. We see a lot of independent political members of parliament coming and winning elections as a result of a divided political opposition that is really dragging down and frustrating Ugandans on the part of internal bickering and internal conflicts. Lastly is the issue of the international community to understand that the political dynamics of Uganda are completely different. It seems Ugandans want candidates, political candidates who promise peace, who can educate how people can unite the country and build on their cultural values. That is very critical, and the young people are failing much to communicate on their promises to build a competitive economy that can trigger international tourism, improve foreign trade, foreign capital coming in. They are failing to trigger how to build innovations, turning the gold, the oil and gas sector, the copper, the diamonds, all these, the wildlife, there are a lot of things, the fish, the fruit, the fertile soils to really trigger national transformation. That is where they are really not good, they are not strong. How Uganda can propel artificial intelligence, the robotics industry, and how to turn social media into $1 trillion economy. They do not know how to trigger, how to communicate those narratives, yet they are the most important for their generation. So the old man of the heart, the president, the incumbent, was able to win based on those strengths, and I think it has worked for him. We look forward to get credibility of this election, the electoral integrity. I believe President Trump will be able to welcome the outcomes of these elections. The European Union, the UK Parliament, United States, of course, Senate, and also China, Russia, and Canada, all the countries, and NATO, United Nations, to be able to appreciate that the people of Uganda have spoken, and they have spoken in big numbers, and there has been improved number of voters coming to vote. Of course, the machine, they wanted to go into technological election, but I think that will be improved in 2031. And there is also a lot of work to do with the building capacity of the Electoral Commission so that they can have more staff across the country, more readiness across the country, and bigger budget to be able to transcend the voices, the divisions in the political parties. But largely, there is a lot of improvement in giving space or to all opposition leaders to speak to the voters, and we call upon for peace. We call upon all political candidates that those that will not accept the results of the elections to go to courts of law, not to divide the country into chaos, into terrorism, into fighting and dividing the population. So that is given as the mandate of the judiciary. All candidates that are not happy will go to the judiciary, to the courts of law, and whoever has substantial evidences will be able to call for a repeat of the elections, or some elections losing their positions. So we welcome all the political candidates into office, the newcomers, the ones who have been incumbents, welcome back. Those who lost, please try again in 2031. It's your electoral and constitutional right to stand for political office.
The Lens program on UBC TV is proudly brought to you by.
Starting with 100,000 shillings, you begin building real financial strength because wealth doesn't just happen, you build it. And the ones who start early end up ahead. Every deposit, every month, every little increase. This is how your money grows into wealth. Put your money to work with the experts at SBG Securities. Partner with us today on your investment journey.
SBG Securities. Keep growing for you, for them, forever.
Basically, Ugandan culture is that it is rooted in the Ubuntu philosophy, that you are because of me, I am because of you. So basically, the Ugandan culture is that these are many tribes, but yet sharing one philosophy of Ubuntu, living for greater good, living for the sake of others. Indeed, in this kind of situation, government for the last 40 years has been teaching Ugandans how to relate, that regardless of a different tribe, please work with him, work with her. And so that's why the boiling point of Africa is here in Uganda. The Basoga, the Bachiga, the Bacholi, the Bakonzo, all these tribes, all of them, too many of them, yes, one would think that they cannot communicate and even work together. But look, the intermarriages that are happening in Uganda are too many to the extent that one would really not forget about tribes, but look at how they love one another. So that's why Uganda is one of the most loving countries in the world, the most receptive country in the world, yet one of the top 5 most entrepreneurial young people in the whole world. Oh my God. So that gives Uganda the different face, that the type of politics in Uganda is completely different. To become a president, the questions of the voters is he or is she going to allowing us to interrelate as tribes, as political parties? So this is more than politics. You have to understand their culture, because their faces are always smiling. So they would wish to have a president who would wish to keep their cultures alive, to allow them smile towards each other. The level of interrelations, the level of interdependency, the level of interrelations is too much, to the extent that you may fail to know which tribe is which one. But when they speak, you realize, okay, the other one is speaking a different dialect. The other one is speaking a different dialect. Yet they are smiling together. Yet they are walking together in a bus. And they will not hear one abusing the other. So that is an African civilization that is rooted in a 15,000-year-old civilization. So the Ubuntu culture has gone to government. It's the one guiding government's operations. And so you will go to a ministry, you will find somebody is a different tribe, another one is a different tribe. Yet they are interrelated. They are supporting the mechanism of the government, the security of different tribes. And why? Because the recruitment is that each district is given an equal number. Each tribe is given an equal number. And so the Ugandan army is a representation of all tribes, all religions. And so when they go to campaign, they are all going to campaign to enter positions of government, but yet different tribes. That is how rich Ugandan culture is. When you are at the airport, everyone, all tribes are at the airport, welcoming you from China, welcoming you from America, welcoming you from Japan. And you look at them, they smile the same way, telling you welcome home. Oh my God, such a culture is what the former Prime Minister of Britain said. Truly Uganda is the pearl of Africa. Why? Look at their culture. Look at how they are living. Yes, before Europe even thought of leadership, of parliament, of representation, Uganda had already developed their leadership structures in a hierarchy of the king, the clan leaders, the parliament, the Lukiko, and the common people. And there were industries, there were innovators, the families of hunters, families of fishermen, and all these diversities, all reporting to the Kabaka, reporting their kings, reporting to their clan leaders. That is how amazing Uganda for the last 15,000 years has been leading itself. And one may ask, but how can a president lead for 40 years? But yet people continue to vote him. These are embracements of all tribes united together and saying, I think we should continue with so and so. Do you know why? Because he understood the Ubuntu tradition, the power of diversities of culture and religions working together, embracing national transformation. Now the game is PDM, Parish Development Model of government. It's not a political program. It's a program not for the president, but it is a program that the president and his government has brought, launched to each household. In terms of the opposition, they also benefit. All religions benefit. All tribes benefit. So they don't first ask you to say which tribe you are, which political party you belong to. But look, every Ugandan has been given $250 to be able to start a project for themselves. The wife gets the $250, the husband gets $250 to really put value addition on the agriculture. If a woman is doing some saloon work, to maybe a saloon, yes, she goes to the market, to the supermarket, to buy a machine so that she can work in the saloon. The husband will use his money probably to get a bike, and we call them border borders, and they get money. In the evening, the wife brings the money, the husband brings the profits. They put together on the table and they go take their children to school. They go buy good food and they take care of their children. This is the government we are talking about. The government transcending the barriers of religious divides and tribal divides and go down to the people with humbleness to trigger unity of the families, transformation of families. And when it comes to the elections, they win naturally. That is the game plan that the current incumbent uses to win the election. While the young people, they need to learn the political game plan is that it's beyond politics of talking about it, of turning rallies into cosmetic music concerts, but to talk transformative vision to build Uganda towards competition or competitiveness of Germany, of USA, of China. Uganda can be a superpower of the world. The young people can make it and can focus on that vision. The power of the East Africa integration, and of course later the Africa's integration, is the milestone, I think, why the current NRM president, the incumbent president, won, convincing the Ugandans that their peace and security depends on how they relate with their neighbors in East African community. Because they provide a market of more than 350 million people. That's a huge market. Yet Ugandans remain 45 million Ugandans. That's a small market actually, in case of having a bigger economy that would facilitate a huge demand in the public sector of railways, hospitals, schools, and salaries for public servants. Where would that money come from? We are talking about $100+ billion. Where would it come from? It must come from a market that is in the East African community. 350 million people means somebody in Uganda will be able to sell a tomato sauce basket to a neighbor, produce probably shoe using skins of cows, of cattle in the local villages, and be able to produce shoes which can be bought in the nearby countries in the East African community members region. And that means trickling the economy making it possible for the coffee of Ugandans be sold in the market of 350 million people in the East African community. These are Kenyans, Rwanda people, South Sudan, DRC. We are talking about Tanzania. We are talking about Burundi. And all these people are actually one people, one East Africa, one destination. So the local people, the voters, we are looking for a message. Who is that person who will look for us a vision to unite as a people, as East Africans? And they found no other than President Museveni, the incumbent. He continues to lead the game. He continues to challenge us. How do we beat him in this game? But somehow it is challenging to the youth of the country. And so I think 2031, they will have built more capacity and more reasoning and more clear vision towards the integration of East Africa, towards a common currency, a common parliament, a common security organization, African army, and African police. That's the future they want to see, so that now the product that someone produces in a little village in Karamoja, that product can be bought in Egypt, in Tunisia, in Libya, in Liberia, in South Korea, in South Africa rather. So that is the vision, that then when that happens, somebody down there producing one piece of shoe can now produce for a larger market 1 billion products. That means more profits, more branches across the continent, more profits to be able to take care of our families, more profits to expand in terms of technology, product design, product development. It means now we can compete in Africa and have the biggest competitive companies in the world. Like the software, in software engineering, we are able to have big companies construct our roads. We can be contracted and compete with Chinese to build hospitals, railway systems. But that comes with the demand. We must have demand. And where does that demand come from? From a market of 1.4 billion Africans ready and committed to consume products manufactured using locally available African products and raw materials in our communities. That person who has such a kind of mindset is the president and is the Museveni. To reach that mindset as a competitor, you must have been tested beyond the political campaigns we have today. It means you must have taken time to participate in the economy. It means you must have had opportunity to be in the diaspora, to know the international system, diplomacy. You must have taken time to study the security terrains of Africa. You must have been in parliament to know really what it means to pass a policy, an enabling policy, to be able to achieve what I'm talking about. That you cannot come from somewhere and say, I want to be a president, I am here, vote for me. But yet our people want someone who can unite them. And you do not have a vision towards the unification or the unity of our kings, towards a vision of uniting Ugandans and Africans, towards a vision of one family, for example, under God. Uniting our people towards the Heavenly Father, towards the blessings of the Heavenly Father, that regardless of tribes, we are worshiping one God. That it is now that Africans, we should transcend the political divides and unite towards listening to God, that we should never divide ourselves, segregate against each other. And Nyerere, really, Mwalimu Julius Nyerere talked about this, that they will not move an inch of Africa towards transformation if all tribes of Africa are united. Nelson Mandela said that without peace as a foundation, we cannot achieve economic stability. Nobody can even talk about it. It's like daydreaming. So we have to have realistic dreams. What are these realistic dreams? Is that this integration means market. And so if you're a political leader in this campaign, you are looking to be elected, you talk about the integration and what the integration means towards transforming our economy. The president of Uganda talked about it. And the voters trusted him because he is the father right now of the integration. We have serious leaders who lived before him. His teachers, Mwalimu Julius Nyerere being one of them, Nkrumah, they talked about this, that a divided Africa will never compete globally. We will remain slaves to the global north and will never be on the table. We will always be under the table. So the international community should be able to give us an opportunity. Give us an opportunity to grow. We have ideas, we have dreams, we have missions to accomplish. And so we will call upon the global north, we will call upon the United Nations Security Council to allow us now work. It has been many years since our independence. This independence is meaningless if our democracy does not grow. And so when they have voted somebody, please take it in and say the Ugandans have spoken. That is their constitutional mandate, and they have their sovereign power to vote a leader of their choice. And these promises are very critical to be listened to and be respected. And if we seek for support, because we also supported you, the global north, for more than 600 years. So support our democracy, support our economy, support our healthcare, support our transformation of education, support our cultural diversity, support our defense on the environment. These are critical. And so work with the president who is elect, work with the parliamentarians that have been elected, work with our ministries, work with the civil society that have these like-minded structures so that we build Africa for the world. And as usual, we welcome you to Uganda because Uganda is ready to feed the rest of the world with peace and transformation.
The Lens program on UBC TV is proudly brought to you by.
Starting with 100,000 shillings, you begin building real financial strength because wealth doesn't just happen. You build it. And the ones who start early end up ahead. Every deposit, every month, every little increase. This is how your money grows into wealth. Put your money to work with the experts at SBG Securities. Partner with us today on your investment journey.
SBG Securities. Keep growing for you, for them, forever. UBC, inspiring Uganda.